All has gone quiet in the hunt for the missing Malaysian airliner. What's next for investigators? Plus, the father of a little girl killed when a car crashed into a Florida daycare is speaking out. And have you ever seen a zombie, a superhero, and a vampire all under one roof? Well, we'll tell you where they were this weekend. Plus, Brittany will have our full weather breakdown. That story and much more to come this Sunday, April 13th, 2014.
This is the Good Morning Show. North Florida and South Georgia's #1 source for news for over 50 years. Coverage you can count on.
All has gone quiet in the hunt for the missing Malaysian airliner following 4 strong underwater signals in the past week. Good morning, I'm Kaitlin McMurray. Meaning the batteries on the all-important black boxes may have finally died. Despite having no pings, crews are continuing their search today for debris and any sounds that could still be heard. No new electronic pings have been heard since April 8th, and the batteries powering the locator beacons on the jet's black box recorders may already be dead. They only last about a month, and that window is passed. Once officials are confident no more sounds will be heard, a robotic submersible will be sent down. Meanwhile, Ukraine's interior minister has announced that Ukrainian special forces have been sent to an eastern city where armed men seized a police headquarters and the office of the security office. Arsen Avakov wrote on his official Facebook page that the pro-Russian separatists who seized the buildings in the eastern city had opened fire Sunday morning on the approaching troops. Well, a 9-month-old Pakistani boy who was poked in connection with an attempted murder case is no longer wanted by police. That's according to his family's lawyer. Days earlier, the baby had bawled as he was fingerprinted, according to police. The ordeal started February 1st when several police officers and a bailiff went to a home hoping to get payment for a gas bill. A scuffle ensued during which the infant's father, one of his teenage sons, and others severely injured some of the officials by tossing bricks. That led authorities to seek out those in the house. Well, closer to home, the father of a little girl killed when a car crashed into a Florida daycare is speaking out, as people in Orlando are remembering 4-year-old Lily. Meanwhile, a suspected hit-and-run driver is spending the weekend behind bars. Roy Ramos reports.
You don't ever want to imagine what it's like, and I'm imagining it, and I don't want to feel it.
You can hear the pain in the voice of Brian Quintas as he told us how his family is trying to cope with the loss of their 4-year-old little girl, Lily. His precious daughter, who was always singing to her mother, was taken from him when troopers say 28-year-old Robert Corchado sent a car crashing into a daycare and kept driving.
She was so beautiful and such a good kid.
Quintas told us about how much Lily loved her 7-year-old brother, who he said is struggling to cope and understand with what happened.
He's like, I don't have anybody to play with right now. You play with me. And that was his sister.
When this heartbroken dad thinks about the man allegedly responsible for the tragedy, his pain turns to anger, especially the thought that Corchado could be back out on the streets. But even through this father's pain and anger, he is thinking of Lily's classmates, who are also suffering.
Lily, as right now, was the only one that was killed because of it, but the other people may need support as well.
The crash also injured 13 other children and 1 adult. With the 4th anniversary of the BP oil spill approaching, major questions still remain about the spill's health effects. BP says it worked closely with federal agencies to, quote, take extraordinary measures to safeguard the health and safety of responders. A National Institute of Health study is beginning to track people who have suddenly reported respiratory and skin conditions since the spill, as well as increased anxiety reflected in previous disaster impact studies. The study tracks 33,000 people who were exposed to some of the 200 million gallons of oil BP spilled and the 2 million gallons of core exit chemical they sprayed to get rid of it. BP is finally ready to start paying out up to $60,000 for medical claims under a court settlement. Superheroes, vampires, and zombies. Those were just a few of the people at Tallahassee Civic Center yesterday. Eyewitness News reporter Winnie Wright tells us why.
They're all dressed out as their favorite characters from TV and movies and anime and comic books today. It's great.
Have you ever seen a Wookiee, a zombie, and a vampire all under one roof? Chances are you probably haven't. AltCon 2014 kicked off with a bang Saturday, where organizers say the more different you are, the more normal you'll seem.
There's Doctor Who, Star Wars, Star Trek, Battlestar Galactica, comics, anime.
Organizers say that geeks young and old are all welcome to AltCon. No matter what your guilty pleasure, there's a little something for everybody, including this life-size Battlestar Galactica Raider 1 and even an RTD2 that can be found buzzing around the Civic Center. But what about us non-geeks? Participants say there's a place for you too.
You don't even have to consider yourself a geek just to come out and have fun, see the cool costumes, and just have fun and just see all what there is to see. There's a lot of stuff for everyone here.
Infinity says AltCon is a place where geeks can be themselves while not being themselves. Just ask Callie Cosplay.
I do consider myself a geek. I will always be a geek.
In Tallahassee, Winnie Wright, WCTV Eyewitness News.
Now, AltCon does continue today at the Tallahassee Civic Center from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. If you've got an old costume, superhero costume lying around, the costume test begins at 3. Well, folks of all ages took advantage of the beautiful weather yesterday and headed to the first ever Frenchtown Eye-Grown Food and Art Festival. There were live performances, activities for the kids, and fresh fruits and veggies from neighborhood gardens. The festival marked the second phase of the I Grow Whatever You Like Youth Farm. The local iGrow farm is part of a national program called Grow 1000, which aims to create 1,000 community gardens across the world by 2018.
They grow their own vegetables and then they sell them. And then there's a large community where they come and have an opportunity to interface with customers and learn the commerce and then learn what they grow and what happens afterwards. The other side of the property is where they have community gardens. So the local residents here can plant their own raised gardens.
Organizers say since iGrow operations began in 2011, the farm has engaged nearly 500 young people who have produced more than 2,000 pounds of produce. Well, Cascades Park in Tallahassee held its first major concert yesterday at the new Capital City Amphitheater. The 2014's Country Breakout Independent Artist of the Year, Tracy Lawrence, took the stage in front of a packed and enthusiastic audience. Concertgoers say they are both impressed and excited that the park was able to land such a well-known act for the big occasion.
I can't believe the number of people that have turned out for this event. It is so exciting, and everybody looks like they're having a wonderful time. They're comfortable, the music's great, the weather's perfect, so it's great.
7-time Grammy-nominated artist Charlie Wilson will take the stage Sunday, and the R&B singer will perform after the opening act. Marvin Dixon, Kate Tobin at 5 p.m.